This question is for the ladies. Are you living your best life above and below the skirt? Our next guest can help you answer some pressing questions. We'd like to welcome Tamara Green, pelvic physical therapist and founder of Below the Skirt with Tamara. Thank you so much for joining us, and congratulations on the seminar that you recently held. And we'll get into that in just a little bit. But I want to talk a little bit more about what you do. You're a pelvic physical therapist. What does that mean?
Well, as a pelvic physical therapist, our foundation is being a general physical therapist, orthopedic wise for me. But pelvic physical therapy is anything that deals with, I call it below the skirt, within our pelvis. So if you're having any issues with incontinence, with uncontrolled bladder, unwanted leakage, if you're having pain with intercourse, because you may say, hey, I'm having a lot of weakness after having my baby, or maybe not even having my baby. So the whole goal is and we also work in the area of constipation as well. So what we do is all the organs that are housed within the pelvic floor, our job is to make sure you're not having pain, make sure you have good strength, make sure you have good flexibility like it would be any other joint of the body, but we're more down in the pelvic region.
That's interesting. A woman's emotional and physical well-being is so tied to that part of her body. Why do you think so many of us ignore it?
Because we may feel like, oh man, this is normal, right? We may feel like those type of things, but I really, really want the biggest point I want any woman to take hold of this is it may be common, but it's not normal. So if you, Leyla, had something going on, but somebody else didn't, guess what? If they're not having it, think about it. It may not be, it's common, but it's not normal. So we just have to go and we have to ask questions.
Yes. Ask questions, pay attention to yourself. Women, compared to men, we've talked about this so many times on this show, that women are much more prone to going to see their doctors. They are a little bit more in tune to their bodies than men are. Men tend to be very focused on work and maybe working out, but to actually go to the doctor can sometimes be a real challenge. But then again, on the flip side of that coin, women, they are often the ones to care for everyone and their families if they have multiple children or husband or parents that they're taking care of, and they put themselves last. So is there some way that women can kind of get out of that mindset, get a little bit more in tune to themselves, to give themselves the grace and the time to focus on themselves and their own health?
Most definitely, because we have to also look at our women's health, our body is self-care. What do? We get our nails done, we get our makeup done, we get outfits, we do different things like that. We have to be in tune with ourselves. And a lot of times, us caring as women, we carry so many burdens, the responsibility of our loved ones or whomever, but we sacrifice ourselves and we end up breaking ourselves down. And that's what happens when a lot of women come into my office. They may be mothers or they may not be, but they juggle so much and they always put themselves last. So I think the biggest thing is just realizing you've got to, if you don't take care of you, there's a whole lot of domino effect that goes with that. That's the biggest thing that we also have to realize. But self-care is being in tune with your body, assessing your body. And I call all women's pelvis, Virginia, right? We all have a Virginia. And with Virginia, what do we need to do? We need to check her out. Be in tune with her. And if something's not right, get it checked out. It's better for you to go somewhere and say, hey, you're fine, versus not going somewhere and something wasn't normal.
Right. When we exercise and trainers, they tell us, focus on your core, meaning right there kind of in your gut, that's what helps you with back issues and posture and things like that. But your core also falls a little bit below the belly button as well, where a lot of stuff, it happens there. And as we age, we go through so many different changes with menopause and hormonal changes. So what would you say to some of your clients or people who are thinking, well, goodness, I could take a pill for that? I mean, yes, medication is sometimes very necessary, but a lot of women, they tend to go towards the pharmaceutical solution rather than the more holistic way of caring for their bodies? How do you kind of shift into that
Leyla, I think
arena?
that's a great point that you mentioned. And I became a pelvic therapist because I went to a urologist and they told me to take a pill for my urge incontinence that I was having. That was a band-aid on the situation. But there
Mhm.
was pelvic physical therapy can help with that. So what my point with, as you just made, there's many things, there's issues that we may have that if you just work on internally with your body, you may not have those issues, but you just need to know how to address them. So when you speak on the core, I want you to understand every woman, and women, I want you to understand every woman will go through diastasis recti, which is abdominal separation. So if you have your abdominal muscles, when that bundle of joy is there, as it expands during the third trimester, that stomach muscle separates, right? And that integrity of the muscle brings on weakness.
Mhm.
So in the core, it doesn't matter how high you wear that skirt or how low you wear that skirt. But with that core, you've got to, because if you have a weak core, it's going to
Yes.
decrease your posture, decrease your balance. So most women who have a weak pelvic floor, leakage with laugh, cough, sneeze, jump, any of those type of things, they
Yeah.
tend to have weak core. And a lot of times a weak core will bring on back pain.
Absolutely. This is a great place to take a break. When we come back, I want to reflect on the seminar that you just had and how women out there can learn more information. We'll do that in 2 minutes. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back. We've been chatting with Tamara Green. And Tamara, you just had a seminar. Tell us how that went.
It was mind blowing. It wasn't just for me, it's for what the participants said. It was transformations, women really understanding themselves because each speaker, we had a sex therapist, an OBGYN, a mental health counselor, an executive coach, a pelvic physical therapist, and a nutritionist. So we actually poured into the whole woman. We poured into the whole woman. So each aspect of her was brought to the table so we can have the whole pie. So it was it was great, and they're definitely looking forward to it next year.
Yeah, I'm sure that there were a lot of light bulb moments for people who had participated, who joined in as it was a virtual seminar, so people could come in and listen and ask questions. But if anybody missed it, you are going to have it available online. So where can people find that?
Yes, April the 1st, 2021. It will be on my website, below the skirt with Tamara.com. Below the skirt with Tamara.com. Yes.
Excellent. And for people who want more information and to visit with you, what's the best way to do that?
So they can go to below the skirt with Tamara.com, or if you're wanting to do in-office visits here, where it's our website is renewalrc.com, and we take all insurances. So no matter what your situation is, we're here to meet you. We're here to take those private conversations and make it into a public forum. So just realize you're not alone. 1 in 3 women have an issue with some type of urge or urinary incontinence.
Yeah, I'm sure a lot of people can relate to each other. They just don't know it, Tamara. I want
Right?
to thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for the opportunity to be able to bring women's history to a closing.
Absolutely. We did it. We're
Yeah.
back after this.